Well, now I know the feeling of when my English teacher is about to get married to my gym teacher. Pure bliss. That's right. Taylor Swift posted that message on her Instagram, and people are interpreting it to mean that her and her gym teacher, Travis Kelce, are going to get married soon. Taylor heads are deciphering the images that she posted, and you can clearly see a sort of engagement style ring in some of the photos. So if the rumors are true, I think this is a huge win for both of them because I don't think either of them have ever been married before. It looks like this member of the Tortured Poets Society is pretty fearless when it comes to sharing a lot of her midnights with her lover forever and evermore. Now I'm joined by Amy Scarlatta, who will share her thoughts on this rumored engagement. Amy?
I think it could be confirmed.
Oh, really? Oh my God. Sorry. I joined this, our Riverside a little early. I just saw the Instagram, but I didn't see it confirmed by multiple sources. So it's true that they are proposed to each
Straight
other.
from the horse's mouth, so to speak.
Oh my God. Oh my God. What was your, this just happened in the last 30 minutes or 45 minutes. I'll just say when we're recording. What were your first thoughts?
I wonder how long ago she wrote the caption.
Oh, like what she would have possibly said.
Like it was like in her diary like 2 years ago.
I think so too. For sure, there was some thought about that. English teacher, gym teacher. That's kind of the dichotomy of their relationship. He's the gym guy. She's English person. And then she also had, I think, a photo or a song that said "So High School" or something. So it was kind of like playing up this high school theme for them. And there was that firework, I think a firework emoji. So a lot of stuff for little Easter eggs.
Dynamite.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, fireworks completely different. It was a stick of dynamite. And so that's probably, I'm sure that means something as well. But so now that it's confirmed, what do you think?
Changes everything.
Yeah. I was sort of thinking, how she kind of gives little like clues.
Yeah.
She's like, look at my hair in this photo. That hair represents this era or the red. I remember the red scarf. It was like, that's Jake Gyllenhaal's symbol. He always used to wear a red scarf. And so I thought this was just kind of like fodder for people to sleuth around, but it's confirmed, as you said.
Yeah, I saw a tweet, like my Twitter has already been completely taken over, but it was like Taylor Swift's like schizophrenic fans like putting together like their names have 11 numbers, and if you put them together and she got proposed to on 8/26/25, they will be married in 111 days.
Yeah, it's sort of like Zodiac.
Yeah.
It's sort of like when
ruling over us all.
And then Jake Gyllenhaal is sort of, even though he was in a relationship with her in the past, he's sort of, it's like we're all Jake Gyllenhaal deciphering the clues that the Zodiac Killer or Taylor Swift, as we like to call her,
ruining our lives.
Is sending out. I gotta say, okay, first of all, congratulations to both of them. I hope that you and I are invited to the wedding potentially. I think that would be amazing. I forget what I was going to say after that. I hope we're invited to the wedding. And I mean, this is great for both of them. Do you think that Travis Kelce got away with taking her to that garden and said, like, look around, spin around, I'm going to get down on one knee and I'm actually going to do a secret proposal that she didn't know about? Or do you think that this is all sort of, hey, let's make this official. Let's talk about it,
Right. Yeah. I don't know where they were. Like, was that someone's yard or did they go to like a cottage somewhere? Like, I don't know the details. So.
I think it was someone's yard. I think that they were walking. I think they were walking around in the Cotswolds or something, and he said, he pointed over there, and he said, "Let's go stand over here." And they said, "Taylor, turn around." And then he goes, "Look at this huge ring. Will you be my gym, or can I be your gym teacher to your English teacher?" But either way, this is big news for Taylor Swift fans.
Yeah. I'm just afraid there's going to be, she already has released like 14 versions of her album that hasn't come out yet. And I'm like, is there going to be like a wedding edition now? Like, is she going to sell like a wedding book of photos? I'm like, what shit is going to come out of this for sale?
Yeah, I gotta say, I was gonna say two negative things, and I keep forgetting one of the negative things I was gonna say. But first, you brought me to one negative thing, which is that Taylor has to stop with these variants. I know your fans love them. Champagne Bubbles edition, Red Scarf
Shiny
edition.
Bug.
shiny bug edition, but that's not fair. Billboard is having a hard time calculating these sales, and they should not allow vinyl variants to magnify sales. Taylor Swift needs to be on the same playing field as every other artist, and it's not fair that the shiny bug edition gets to boost extra sales and that she has fans that have been primed to buy all of this, not garbage, but piles of, not shit, piles of merchandise,
not landfill shit,
not landfill, but yeah. So, but I'm just saying that I don't think that that's, this is obviously a tactic to make money and also to juice the Billboard numbers. And I say, Billboard, if you're listening, you can't allow these vinyl variants to impact numbers ever again. That was my one negative thing. Not that this has anything to do with the proposal, which I think is beautiful and perfect.
Yeah, I'm just relieved. I'm happy for the fans. They are fed all the time. That's fun. Like, I think it's nice to have a fandom. Like, Beyonce is mine. Although I don't follow her that closely. I just like to see her in concert. Like,
me too.
Literally. Like,
Drake is mine. We're all part of different hives.
Yeah, but it's like I didn't buy Beyonce's whiskey. Like, I was like, no thanks.
And I don't buy any of Drake's garbage merch. No offense to him. His merch is pure shit. I just like his music and I'm proud of him. Oh, I want to say one thing about Taylor Swift's second negative.
Yeah.
So pure positive, 10 pure positive things that I stated. But then second was, oh my God, how am I forgetting it again? Oh, that Taylor Swift memes are really kind of not fun at all. Like Life
what?
of a Showgirl was not very fun. I guess maybe the Bravo-centric memes. It was like Luann, and it was just Luann smoking a cigarette, and it was like Life of a Showgirl. Yeah. And then this one of her proposal, people were like trying to create memes of it, but all of them just aesthetically don't lend themselves to be memes, or you know what I mean? I just don't think that anything good has been created as the internet tries to take hold and make these little things fun for fans. None of them, I haven't seen a good meme. Maybe I'm just not looking. Show me some good Taylor Swift memes, but I just don't think that her aesthetic lends itself to create fun, ironic cultural artifacts.
Right. It's no Brat.
No, Brat did. Oh my God. Don't get me started. And when we were talking about Brat last year in 2024, that had some memes going for it. Charlie XCX was spinning around.
Kamala is Brat.
Kamala was Brat. Green was Brat. We were having a Brat summer. It's just like, I don't know. I don't know if that's a fully formed take, but everything I saw, like Loverboy was like, there were like, Taylor's engaged, we're giving free shipping to all stuff, and they created like a meme for it, and I was just like, what does that meme mean? Like, they just anyway, I don't want to get too negative.
You were like,
here.
What do you meme?
Yeah, I said, what do you mean? But anyway, in addition to that, no, that's not taking away from this. I think Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift are going to have a wonderful marriage and relationship for sure.
I saw a tweet that was like, there hasn't been a NFL engagement this huge since Kim and Croy.
Oh my God, that's a good meme. When your English teacher marries your high school gym teacher, that's
also my question. Is that a thing? Is that like a trope?
Well, yeah, when I was in high school, my English teacher married my gym teacher, and you should have seen, basically we had to cancel school.
And you were like, but she's smart and he's dumb.
That's what we said to ourselves, but we didn't know what we were talking about. We were rude back then. I was 14 years old, but we shut the school down for a full week. We couldn't stand it. The principal said, class is dismissed. Did you hear that Mrs. Mackey is dating, I forget my gym teacher's name, but it was, this is a trope. For sure. And I think that's what she's sort of playing on for this.
Okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Good. Well, good.
I'm just hearing this for the first time.
Anything else that you want to say to sort of...
Someone pointed out that it's funny that the whole thing is so curated, like the photos, the setting, the caption, like everything. She's like, I'm not fucking around on like how this is presented, but then his handle is just Killa Trav.
I saw that too. I go, he's got a sort of one of those Instagram handles you regret that you made when you were 19 or 20, a horrible one. Killa Trav, and then oh my God, if they want to blow the roof off culture, like aliens would swarm down because they'd be like, humanity is making too many waves in the universe. If he got into the Super Bowl again, and then Taylor Swift's the singer. If she sung at the Super Bowl and it was a part of their marriage rollout, I think that you and I, well, even though we're not huge major fans. I think even our heads would start to blow up.
Yeah, I mean, from what I've heard, it would be likely probably that he would be in the Super Bowl again by the
I think they're
way of
letting him win.
things.
I hate to say this, but NFL is completely corrupt.
It's a conspiracy.
All professional sports, I think, cheat their asses off. But I think that when he does stuff that's horrible, they go, "Oh, I didn't see that, Travis. Keep running to the touchdown." So I'm sure for power and popularity, they'll let Travis Kelce get away with his shitty. Well, I'm just kidding. He's not a bad football player, but to get to that Super Bowl so they can have that moment.
Yeah, I mean, she's perfect for it because like the best kinds of artists to do it are ones that have like a full greatest hits catalog, and she obviously does. So
yeah. Oh my God. I'm trying to think of what Taylor heads would want their perfect Super Bowl set list to be. If you know your 15 songs that you want Taylor Swift to play in order for her Super Bowl set list, let us know in the comments section somewhere, please.
Yeah. No, I watch the Beyonce and Lady Gaga ones like all the time. Even Katy Perry's is good.
Oh my God. I got to start watching those and get prepped for this big Taylor Swift one that
when would that
announcing.
Be? Early next year?
Yeah. So this is really good. If you allow 6 months.
She's got time.
This is great. And if she wanted to get married on Valentine's Day and then perform at the Super Bowl.
They get married at the Super Bowl?
Oh my God. This is like the commissioner of the NFL, whoever the hell that is. He would just be like, he'd say, holy shit, this is wild. So anyway, we got to stop. We're at 10 minutes, I think, or 11 minutes. We got to get to the next bit of, so this is going to be a little different. This is Bravo news. I want to say a huge congratulations to Karen Huger, who is getting out of jail on September 2nd, according to Queens of Bravo. Thank God. You and I haven't. We've talked about Karen Huger being in jail multiple times. We talked about the lead up to it, but out of sight, out of mind. I forget. I don't think every day that Karen Huger has been sitting in a jail cell, and that's on me. But the fact that she's getting out is so amazing. And I feel personally, I'm just going to go out on the limb by myself. This was enough time for her to think about stuff and probably not do that ever again.
Yeah, I hope so.
I hope so too. I think it was, who said, did the judge throw the book at her? We don't know. Is criminal justice warranted? We don't know. But I think that no matter what, Karen Huger, it's time, 4 months or however long this has been, 6 months, that's a long time. I hope Karen Huger will never take a sip of alcohol again, especially behind the wheel. It's Uber. She should have Uber and Lyft and Waymo as the top 3 apps on her main page for the rest of her life. Oh, and Ray's icon. Put an icon
and her driver, Baby Blue or whatever.
And Baby Blue is 5th. It's. I would never
take your pick, Karen.
Karen, and this is huge. Karen, when you get out and you want to listen to Turtle Time, you've learned your lesson. I know it, and that might have been the judge might have thrown the book at you a little bit. But regardless of that, September 2nd, you're coming out. That's great news. Don't drink and drive ever again, because the last time I saw you drink and drive, your car was about to explode. There was someone who ran into the bushes who was in the car with you.
Thomas Jefferson's concubine.
It was not good. I've said it before. I'll state it again. It was the drunkest I've ever seen a human being, and the fact that she was in a car, that was bad. Those 2 items.
Someone, I don't know if this is true, because I don't know if I've heard this otherwise, but would potentially Potomac be filming at that time?
What a great question that, of course, I should know the answer to. I think that if I know these producers, they will strategically make it a line where Karen gets talked about enough. I don't know. Here's what I'll say. I would assume that they've already been filming and we've already should have been getting little peeks at this. And then hopefully they'll do either the add-on method or Karen shows up, in the final 3 or 4 episodes. I hope that they didn't have a full season in the can, without Karen. But you know what, though? Because the reunion was so long ago, and they usually film 3 to 4 weeks after the reunion. So I don't know. We might have a full season probably filmed without Karen, and maybe they'll do a little addendum for her.
Yeah.
That's my guess without actually knowing. If Potomac heads who are more attuned to the filming schedules and you've seen little glimpses of it, let us know. My gut is that they did, unfortunately, film without Karen, and she might have to skip a full season.
Right. No, I'm very relieved for her. What would, if you were gonna drive straight to get something tasty, what would you get?
Oh, tasty after my jail?
Yeah.
Okay, if I was sitting in a prison cell for 6 months, well, first of all, you don't. I don't need to tell you this. I'd be on my best behavior the entire time. I
Are you
would be the
sure?
guy. I would be the guy who was like in Paddington 2, or I think in Paddington 2. No. It's Gustav from Darjeeling Limited, or sorry, uh, Grand Budapest Hotel, who's
Yeah.
getting soup out to the people. Paddington is cooking cupcakes. I would be the book guy in Shawshank Redemption. I'm
Yeah.
bringing around the cart of books. Anyway, when I get out, what would I eat first?
Besides Jersey Mike's.
Well, Jersey Mike's would be probably, if I needed a sandwich, I would probably, and I had to have it. Jersey Mike's would be maybe later in the week. I would say, can you answer what yours would be first?
The thing that came to mind immediately for some reason was Del Taco.
Oh my God. I don't want to say it, but I had Del Taco. Me and my family were in town, and I got Del Taco to surprise my brother-in-law and sister. I
Yeah.
ordered $50 worth of it, and we were like rolling around like pigs
That's
and
a
shit.
feast at Del Taco.
It was.
At
They
Taco
were.
Bell, you'd get like 4 things for
Oh, no.
$50.
Oh, they couldn't believe it. I said $56. I go, get whatever you want, brothers paying, and they went nuts. And I would almost say,
You're like green sauce, red sauce, bold.
go nuts. You can have whatever type of sauce. Can I go to a restaurant?
Yeah.
I would go to Casa Vega.
Okay.
I would call Casa Vega and I'd say, I just got out of jail. Can 4 of my friends join me at a big booth, the Quentin Tarantino booth, and I
Yeah.
want a bunch of margaritas, and I'd just get a steak burrito or something.
Nice.
What about you? Oh, you already said.
Yeah.
You said Del Taco.
Yeah.
Would you go to a Del Taco or just get it delivered?
Drive
Could I bring
through.
it? Oh, okay. Could I bring it to you?
Sure.
Okay.
As long as it was still hot.
Oh, it would be. I'd race over there. I'd be so fast getting over there. All right, so Del Taco, Casa Vega. If you were Karen Huger, Turtle Time listeners, if you were Karen Huger and you were in jail, what would be the first thing you would eat when you got out?
She's going to go to that like Fork and Spoon or whatever that crazy diner was called.
I was just going to say that, the Greasy Spoon in Potomac, where she has the Karen Huger brunch special.
She immediately gets wasted there.
Oh my God, that's when you say, look at my apps. Why is Uber the #1 app? Because I need to make this decision. All right, well, Karen Huger, we're proud of you. I mean,
Yes.
I'm not proud of what she did before.
Time
but
served.
Right? Time served. The criminal justice system, time served. Get out, have the best time of your life. Okay, I got another thing to say to you, news-wise. This one kind of blew me away. I think you sent it to me first, and I didn't really think about it. I go, oh God, what the hell? But you sent me this teaser for Vanderpump Villa season 3.
Yeah.
And then once I watched it again, I was kind of in a bad mood the first time I watched it. Once I watched it again, it kind of opened itself up to me, and I said, this is one of the most fun things I think I've ever seen in my life. And the reason for it is that Lisa Vanderpump is in England.
Yeah.
And if anybody who's ever watched Vanderpump Rules or it knows one thing about Lisa Vanderpump, the fact that she's from England is a huge piece of the Lisa puzzle. So immediately I was like, I got enough of France and Italy. No offense to those amazing countries, but Lisa back in what is that called? With the beautiful countryside.
She said, nothing beats the English countryside.
That's what I was going to call it. The Cotswolds, the Oxford area. Just imagining Lisa sort of getting back to that England. That whole aesthetic was very appealing to me. And then when she goes, I would like a cup of tea, darling. And then she goes, I'm going to shut the door now. And then Stassi Schroeder knocks on the door and says, there's one more person that you need to let in, Lisa. I go, oh my God, this is almost too much for me. What were your
I felt
thoughts?
like they could have done another take on that. It felt a little like one and done.
Yeah, it felt like a shitty TikTok that I would do when I had 30 minutes to get out and I didn't want to do the take because I thought Lisa should have been mad. I thought that Lisa should have gone her characteristic, not stiff upper lip, dry, sardonic British wit. She should have.
Stassi says, hold up.
Yeah, Stassi goes, hold the door. Or no, yeah, you're right. She goes, hold up. And then Lisa goes, well, then come in, darling. But normally, if I know they're kind of cat and mouse dynamic, it should have been like, sorry. Oh no, Stassi. I didn't let.
Hey.
No, Stassi, I didn't mean to invite you to the English countryside. And then Stassi would be like, well, I'm coming in anyway, Lisa. And then
Yeah.
close the doors
Like,
on
look
that.
what the country cat dragged in.
Oh
or
my God.
something.
Look what the English countryside cat dragged in. So yeah, no. You're right. That had made your first take energy. If they would
Yeah.
have thought about it for 1 second, they would have had that a little more of a playful dynamic, I think.
Yeah. I wonder what it will be called, because there was like Casa Rosabelle or whatever. Like, is this going to be like Vanderpump Shire or something? Like, what's it going to be called?
You knocked it out of the park with the first one. No further comment, Your Honor. Vanderpump Shire, or it's gonna have something God, what's that one that there's that place that Churchill used to get away? It was this huge building. It was called oh my God, if I had 1 second, but I don't want to waste time. That's where they're probably gonna it's called like the Churchill no, it wasn't even called Churchill, but it's this like manor that they can all escape to in the countryside. I bet
Yeah.
it's going to be named something like that, but I'm sort of forgetting all of those British names except Shire, like you said.
Yeah. Let's see. Ugh, this
British.
AI shit is.
What would you say? British famous buildings? The Shard, Westminster Abbey. I bet it Royal Albert Hall, the Beth Abbey. I bet it'll be something called the Highclere Castle, or the Whitby Abbey, or Harewood House Trust, or the Sardingham Estate. This is awesome. This is Beetham Tower. I don't even. I could go on listing these British establishments all a day, but it's gonna have some. Don't you think some
those
name
are
like
good
that?
Starting points. But yeah, I was like, my first immediate thought was, oh, we were just talking about how Stassi was in England, and I was like, oh, this is why, and she's just going to keep doing this show because she gets a family vacation every summer out of it.
Yeah, it's kind of a huge win for Stassi. Peek her head back in reality television, not really have anything you have to do except be kind of like entertaining with your family and comment on a bunch of unruly teenagers, that are working together. And she gets to run around the English countryside having the time of her life. So I think it's as good as it gets for Stassi. Did you? I guess I don't want to be too negative again, but I would have never thought that. I thought Vanderpump Villa must be hidden in a Hulu stratosphere that we are not aware of, because
Right.
I didn't know that there was such a major reception. It kind of felt like that show came and went. Besides the Beau being in love with his sister and that
Right.
the little blips of that. So the fact that it's like ripping and they're moving to a new location. I mean, I'm proud of them, and I'm happy Stassi has another outlet, but I'm kind of surprised. But I'm excited about this nonetheless.
Yeah, I haven't heard a single soul talk about that show except, when the clips of people starting to be like, did he fuck his sister? like went viral.
Yeah, Beau's going to probably have to account for that in season 3. He's going to have to say probably to camera in his confessional, just so you'll know, I heard the chatter, but I have never had sex with my sister once.
Not once. I was starting to judge her Instagram. Like, she is just doing full on like English countryside photo shoots with her family, and I was like, all right, enough of this. But then I was like, I guess she kind of is an influencer by trade, so you have to allow it because that's her bread and butter. Like, that's how she makes money, is having a Instagram that brands like,
Yeah, of course, I think so too. Yeah, I was just imagining all the places she was going to, like Spinnaker Tower or Cardiff Castle or like the Coventry Cathedral. Like, she's just with these amazing, like amazing places. But I agree with you too. She is an Instagram influencer.
Yeah.
And so like for people, they get a total titillating thrill when they see her in front of like Harwood Estates or
They go to the Tower of London and gaslight.
Oh my God,
he
really?
gaslights her in the Tower of London.
What does he say? If you're so bad that they would have probably put you up in the tower.
I told you that at one point he goes, I'm giving you this heirloom cameo brooch, darling. And he's like, why don't you put it in your purse? And she's like, oh, it's in my purse. And then he never puts it in there. And then at the Tower of London, she starts digging around in her purse and realizes that it's gone. And he like chases after her, and there's like a scary shadow
God,
coming. And he's like, what's wrong? Like, what's going on with you? You're being weird.
Oh my God. Holy shit! I was gonna say if you're
He
gonna
like
be
never leaves her ass alone.
that is so weird of him. If you're gonna get gaslit though, Tower of London is kind of an iconic place to have your boyfriend kind of being a little stinker running around you like
Totally.
in the shadows. Like I didn't put that brooch, or I put that brooch in your purse, and then you'd be like, "Where'd you put it?" And it's I mean, yeah. Well, that's amazing. I didn't know. Is it all in London?
Yeah, it's like gaslight era, like Gilded Age. Like when is that? Like it's like the 1800s.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
All right, well, that movie is the gift that keeps on giving. I can't
So
wait to
glad
watch
I
it.
watched it.
Anything else you thought about, or Vanderpump Villa? I mean, did it entice you in any way? Just imagine Lisa and Ken kind of being like, "Look around you. This is where
Yeah.
we grew up. This is a
Right.
British sensibility, Stassi. Get your ass in gear."
Yeah. I mean, I feel like they need to introduce a new element because I
Mhm.
tried last time again. I tried the first time and the second time, and I was like, I cannot watch this.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, and I'm just like, I'll watch the first one. I'll see, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to be like, I can't do it.
Here's the flop of the century. It's those 15 little Gen Z stinkers.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I'm going to tie this into that Love Island reunion. I didn't watch it, but I heard from Megan that these children, or not children, teenagers, 18 to 23-year-olds, are
Teenagers.
horrible on camera. They're
Yeah.
awful. They're not charismatic. They're not fun. I heard that it was a horrible reunion.
Ooh.
I'm sure if people felt differently or whatever, but there's just something about the casting of Vanderpump Villa 1 and 2 where people don't want to watch those people. They're not fun. They're, like you said about Southern Hospitality, they're more endeared to reality television, and they know that creating screaming drama is all they should do. They need this to be a show with like British butlers.
Yeah.
We're like,
It's like certified.
Could you imagine if 16 British older butlers who had been sort of working with royalty were actually, Stassi was responsible for them, and also Lisa and Ken? Immediately you're like, oh, now I'm not seeing Gen Z anymore. I'm seeing butlers.
Oh my God. I bet that like in Britain there's like a certification for like butlership.
Absolutely. And they completely sneer at American butlers because they don't know anything that we've been doing for training our butlers over there. They have an entire academy over in where's that called? Oh, England.
It's like how people take clowning really seriously. Like you can take butlership very seriously. Oh my God, by the way, I went to AMC Sunday to see Black Swan, and there's a new Downton Abbey themed like Silence is Golden ad with Mr. Carson, and I think he ends up, spoiler, like marrying Mrs. Hughes, so I think she's Mrs. Carson, but it's the two actors, and they're like, spill the tea at a different time, and it's like people talking and being like
That is so cute of them. Oh
I
my
was
God.
like by myself, I was like
I would be squealing and screaming too. And didn't you show me also, in addition to that fun PSA, that also there's a full Downton Abbey themed seat that you could sit in and pretend like you're a part of that household?
Yes, that's September 12th. I'll be there with bells on for sure.
Oh, I cannot wait. All right. Well, speaking of, I mean, that definitely tied into British butlers and
like they should have them on. There should be like a crossover where like Mr. Carson is like the guest judge on Vanderpump Villa.
That's what I'm saying. And I think that this, I don't know. I don't care if they take this idea completely whole cloth from me, but if it's British butlers, 10,000 more people are watching it than the Gen Z British people.
It would be someone that's like, I'm a 4th generation butler.
Oh, I know. It would be, and then someone would be like, I'm a 2nd generation. And they'd be like, well, they'd have their nose up to them. I think that's what British people
They're
do.
like, yeah, my great granddaddy was Queen Victoria's butler, so fuck you.
No, there would be so much kind of fun rivalry and sort of a stiff upper lip demeanor.
They have to carry like a silver tray on their head.
Oh my God. Yeah, Lisa would be like, I don't like how you brought up that tray. Can you put it on your head? I was just going to say about the Downton Abbey thing. I was going to say, I hope that they don't make a modern reference about spilling tea in Downton Abbey. Because if they were like, Mrs. Carson, you just spilled the tea, and they showed tea spilling, but then he winked at the audience. I hope they don't do anything like that.
No way. They would never.
I don't think so either. All right. Well, lastly, I think you and I got to get out of the news segment. But lastly, I would just want to say this. I sent this to you. I was kind of excited. People have been clamoring for Bethenny Frankel to try the Trader Joe's chicken salad. She's famously a
Yeah.
chicken salad head. She gets it from that Hamptons store.
Yeah.
She gets it from everywhere. And I sent this to you 4 days ago as of this recording. Or when you're watching it, actually, it was 3 days ago. She tried Trader Joe's chicken salad. People were commenting Trader Joe's chicken salad. It's been a full internet. What's
Yeah.
that called? Anyway,
Campaign.
and then they got her to do it.
Yeah. She sort of like really, I was watching with bated breath because I didn't know which way she was going to go. Like,
Yeah,
she made it seem like she was like, you guys don't know what the hell you're talking about, recommending me Trader Joe's chicken salad. I've had it all. I know the best of the best, and you're making me try this crap.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah, she was suspicious of it. She started smelling it and pretending like it wasn't going to be good. And then when she started diving into it, she took a huge handful and shoved it in her mouth. She goes, "This is actually very good. Thank you all for the campaign. I love Trader Joe's chicken salad now." So it just kind of, it felt very good for me as a Trader Joe's chicken salad sort of evangelist to get that sort of nod to our chicken salad. So anyway, huge. I don't know. I thought it was huge. So.
Yeah. She also hated and just like that, and said that she's justified in being a hater because they threw that jab at her on season 1.
Oh, what was it? Who do you think you are, Bethenny Frankel?
It was Seema trying to get Carrie to go to the Hamptons or like get a vacation house for the summer. And she's like, I always every year have a reason to not do it. And Seema goes, is the main reason Bethenny Frankel?
Because does that mean that Bethany it's like she's running around, so she's been avoiding her?
Yeah, like she's like a demon of the Hamptons.
Oh my God. Let's add that to those famous references. I'm sure she's already referenced that. Family Guy, that, SNL, and then I think Turtle Time.
Yeah. No, she's always like, she made a video while she was eating sushi, always eating, that she said that the haters love to hate her.
Yeah.
And she's like, you're welcome.
Yeah. She said, oh my God, I watched this finally. I was in a Bethany I was feeling like a Bethany, watcher for a second. I heard her say this. She goes, even if somebody recommends me or says they like me, my trolls will start swarming into the comments and saying Bethany is horrible. She goes, so I'm a divisive figure.
Yeah. It's funny because sometimes I'll get clips about like Bethenny Ever After or whatever, and sometimes the algorithm will be like, people are like, he's awful, like he put her through hell. And then sometimes I'll get one and I'll open the comments and they'll be like, she was a demon to him, like totally like drove him away. And I'm like, whoa, like it's so weird when you like the comment section could just be totally different on the same sort of thing.
Oh, yeah. Jason heads. Could you imagine? Like, who is
a hoppy head?
A hoppy head. Oh, my God. I've heard of hop heads before, but a hoppy head? All right. Well, great. Well, I think let's conclude this news segment completely. Let's close the book on the news chapter. Mission accomplished. I think we talked about everything. And now you and I, you read the title. I don't know what it's going to be called, but this is a McBee Dynasty-centric episode. Amy and I are going to do our best to recap every huge moment from season 2 of McBee, ending with episode 9. So we will be ready. We're getting this big pile of shit out of the way. Well, not shit. Big, huge, heaping mound of great content out of the way. So we'll be ready to talk about the season finale next week. So we are going to do our best to breeze through this shit, talk about season 2 of McBee Dynasty, which I'll just say it first. I was ripping this up yesterday, the last 2 days, and I was just screaming McBee at the top of my lungs, how much fun I'm having about what they're able to do in this universe. Whatever they throw at me, I'm on board. You want to talk about trimming too much fat off the brisket? I'm on board. Masha's breaking stuff in Steve's truck? I'll take it. Yeah. Cole's diamond ring shopping, everything that they're providing. I love this peek into this dynasty. I'm having the time of my life, and I think you are as well, right?
I know, because I was like, I've been binging it, and it was like getting to the point where I would want to watch another one, and I'd be like, you're going to want to save that for, Sunday. You're going to want to have that to watch. And then it worked out perfectly where it's on Monday nights. So we get to talk about it Tuesday for the Wednesday episode.
There's someone looking out for old turtle time, because you and I were in the dregs for Tuesday's episode, and then someone up there said, let's give him McBee on Mondays. And
God is a McBee fan.
and it's perfect. I mean, this is going to work out perfectly. I mean, we'll be able to cover the season finale just kind of like we did with Next Gen NYC. Remember that bounty that was bestowed on us?
Yeah.
So I want to say, just for context, because I didn't, you were ahead of me in season 1. So I finally got to the moment that you were talking about, and I loved hearing it. Of what was going to happen, but seeing it was kind of another thing that I couldn't have been prepared for. Steve McBee gives this drunken speech. You gotta say he was drunk at the Corn Star Awards, and he says, "This is towards the end of season 1. I'm not going to belabor it." He goes, "I'm drunk as a skunk, and you got to work hard." And he's cursing every other word. He goes, "I'm going to say a couple curse words." He goes, "You gotta fucking work hard. I'm a McBee. This is real work. I'm getting pissed up here."
Yeah. He goes, "If you don't love farming, then don't fucking talk to me."
Yeah, it's just this kind of sort of cursing gibberish about working hard. And there's a bunch of investors who have their monocles on, bankers and investors, and they've got their monocles popping off their heads.
They're
breaking.
dressed like the Penguin.
They're dressed exactly. They're dressed head to toe in this sort of glamorous outfits, and they've never heard cursing at the Corn Star Awards of their life. They all went 2 years ago. They went 1 year ago. Now they're at these Corn Star Awards, and Steve McBee makes an ass of himself. And then, like you said, he goes, "Son," he calls Stephen McBee, and he goes, "Son," apparently. He goes, my head is not in the right place. I just made the drunkest speech in the history of the Corn Star Awards. I'm leaving town. You take over, and I want you to tell your brothers that you're in charge of the farm, and you won't see me again for 7 episodes.
He just drives away.
And there is so much more than any other Housewives franchise, because I think you and I can pretty much clock everything that's fake and everything that's real, and we've kind of got it down. Like, I know when I'm being sold a bill of goods, and I know when they're lying, and I know all that kind of stuff. But with the McBee Dynasty, I don't know what the fuck is ever going on, or what's real or what's fake. Is the soybean farm actually yielding a bunch of great crops
How many bushels?
How many bushels? Did Steve McBee actually call Stephen McBee and say, "I need to take time off, my son?
Yeah.
You take over for me. I'm on the lam." Everything about it. There's a really fun task ahead of us of trying to parse what is real, what they're doing for drama, and for some reason, still, even knowing that half of it is kind of fake, it's still just a very fun experience overall, no matter what they're trying to pull on us.
Yeah, luckily the drunkenness is often enough that is pure reality, because they're just so sloppy that they can't produce anymore. But there's a lot of shenanigans going on. Like the ultimate conversation of Steven with the brothers, where he's like, "Dad has left and I am in charge." And it's like a drone shot. You're like, okay, that was on the schedule.
Totally. And I think the entire premise of them saying our soybeans went to curdle to shit, we blew it big time with
fucking
corn and
Cole trying to double down on the agriculture.
Yeah, Cole put a bunch of salt on, he instead of putting fertilizer, he put a bunch of salt in the mill, and they were like, "We owe $6 million to someone at
November
the end
1.
on November 1st. And then at the end of it, I'm just spoiling it, he goes, "Mission accomplished, boys. Cole, your soybeans popped and grew huge. So the $6 million debt is completely handled." I was like,
that
yeah,
late
right.
corn.
What'd you say?
The late corn and the soybeans.
He goes, "That was, okay, that soybean crop that you got from that farmer was actually yielded the hugest soybeans we've ever seen." And I was like, okay, I think that they kind of put stuff that's fake in there to give the season an overall arc. But then there's also shit that they can't control. And the huge thing is that Steve, what the hell am I talking about? Steve McBee, he underreported corn and soybean growth to the Department of Agriculture,
Yeah.
or no, his insurance company, to get the it's called a big boost of money, or it's to get this federal grant
Yeah.
for farmers to sustain them. So he underreported how much he yielded. He got like $4 million based off that false report. And now they found out that FBI actually did come by and they go, look at these soybeans. There's no fucking way that this was a yield of 2,000 soybeans. And so then now, for falsifying that report, he pled guilty. And he has possibly 30 years potentially in prison for that false report. And it's real. I looked this up.
Yeah.
I had to look it up.
I listened to give them a shout out, the Bravo docket about it, and they explained the crimes. And yeah, it's a basically like a protection for farmers that stems back to the Dust Bowl, when like everyone was just getting totally fucked and like unable to grow anything. There's like insurance protections in place for if like weather fucks your harvest or like whatever. And he like abused that system, which they were wondering. I'm like, I wonder how often that happens, because it's kind of hard to like prove, you know?
Yeah, no, I was looking at it. It's like farm and corn fraud is so rip roaring in the farm industry. I mean, you and I could create a farm in California right now called Turtle Time Farm, and if we underreported it, we could get a huge grant from the crops that we're making.
My Trader Joe's basil plant died.
You could get it from, it was called the Rain and Fall Corn Company that they reported this false information to. And now the Agriculture Department and the Department of Justice are on Steve McBee's ass for false reporting this. So that kind of makes the Fed circling overhead
real.
Kind of a little bit real. Even though that was kind of fake, he does end up getting a federal charge against him. So it's now real. He did some criminal activity on his farm.
I'm telling you, there's like a 9 out of 10 chance that if you're on reality TV, you're going to jail.
Yeah. Oh my God. People's hubris. You're right. And we've said this before. It's because you could probably get convicted of a crime for anything you're doing. Like, let's just hypothetically say doing horrible taxes. You just doing taxes horribly. If someone had a camera on you as you're filling out every form, they could be like, what the hell did you just do there? Let's send you to prison. So you give the spotlight on anybody, especially in the farm industry, and you're possibly feds are going to come for you.
Yeah, I think that there's also something about their ethical code and just because I feel like for the most part, everyone on Bravo that's gone to jail, it's been for like a very legitimate reason.
Oh, so you're saying, no, contrary to what I'm saying, there are innocent people walking among us, and it's only people that are doing criminal activity that get busted for it.
I just mean like, I feel like the level of fraud, like say like Jen Shaw was like an entire like criminal organization. Like I think there is like they were willingly committing crimes.
Oh, but don't you think you and I are committing crimes just every day?
I wish we were. I would have more money if we were.
I know, but my crimes are so low level that they barely get me shit. Theft and
we need better fraud.
I want to do a huge fraud. I don't know. You know what? I think let's split the difference. I think that there's a sort of low-level criminality that's happening among all people that if someone had a magnifying glass, you'd get busted for it. But also it does shine a light on just people who are doing shady shit, behind the scenes. And Steve McBee just happened to be someone who unreported his soybean yields.
I wonder if Galena knew about that at the time. Like if he was like, I'm doing this shit. And she was like, you should do it.
I think Galena, we're going to find that Galena's big signature is on the top of that report. Let's start ripping. Those are the main things that are going on in the McBee Farm Dynasty world. But then we get some more of the personal dynamics, which, like you said, you can't really fake.
Right.
Casey is pregnant.
Yes, Cole's baby mama. And that happened between seasons. It got spoiled for me when I was watching season 1. I went on Instagram and I was like, oh shit, he has a baby.
I know. So when I posted us with the McBee Dynasty boys wearing those hats, I purposefully put us in front of Casey's pregnant stomach so I wouldn't spoil it for any McBee Dynasty 2 heads. But I actually had, unfortunately, everything spoiled for me, especially Mama McBee, or Christy, as some people call her, came into the fold. But, this is kind of, for Cole and Casey, this was an unexpected pregnancy, they say. I think that they made love a few times and possibly this I guess this happened. And it's sort of the entire season is about Cole trying to be a better person
Right.
for Casey, because he admits he was a little bit of a shithead last season. And so he's trying to be a better person to Casey, and he's really trying to work on his relationship, because he admits to himself that Casey is the one he wants in his future, forever, especially now that they're having a child together.
Yes. And he does struggle, and we will get into that. So yeah, Steve is not in this season, basically. Like, he makes a appearance later on, but it's not very big. And so literally Christy, the mom, just comes in, and she's very much in this season, which I thought was interesting, because I would have thought from watching season 1 that it was almost like a McBee produced enterprise. Like, this is our show that we're like making. But then I was like, the fact that she swooped in and sort of just replaced him made it feel like it was like producers being like, okay, well, he's out, so you're in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I thought so too. I thought it was a great swap, like like on a sitcom. If you were like Tim Allen, is canceled, he was doing a bunch of coke and treating people like shit on set, and then they replaced him with his brother, who was like who would be a good replacement for Tim Allen on Tool Time, Home Improvement. I can't think of
Charlie
anyone.
Sheen.
Charlie Sheen, or just like when Ashton Kutcher replaced Charlie Sheen. It's like, it's his long lost brother. It was like, whoa, Christy is coming in and filling the shoes of Steve McBee. And it's sort of like a devil and an angel on the show. Steve was the devil, wreaking havoc, metaphorically. And the mom is the one who's trying to sew everything up and make her boys be better and doing everything right and trying to get them to stop drinking as much.
Right.
But I thought it was I thought that Steve McBee is compelling because he's a drunken mess, and he's awful, and he treats people like shit, and he's very aggressive and rude to his boys, and they have this weird fervor for trying to appease their father. But I didn't miss Steve as much as I thought I would be, especially having Christy there as the mother figure. You
sort of get a different angle. And it is also interesting because she's so ever present, but she technically doesn't have anything to do with the farm business. So it's like almost weird that she's so around, because it's like, this isn't even your business anymore. But she's sort of like, since the boys are all trying to head in a healthier direction, she's a good person to have around instead of their dad.
Yeah, and it's so cool. I hope that they get to the world where even if Steve and Christy are not in scenes together, I want them both in this, because that'll be an interesting duality for them to have to deal with in season 3, of we get to see their mom's firsthand advice versus Steve's advice. Yeah, I think that'd be wonderful. Also, we have Calla is much more a part of this season than I thought she would be. I thought I heard rumors that Steven Jr. and her had officially split up, but this is actually a season that Calla gets to shine a lot more. She's very integral to this season. It's about her and Steven Jr.'s sort of tumultuous relationship, and we even follow Calla back to Dallas at one point. We see how she views her relationship and stuff, and she's much more front and center this season overall.
Yeah, and there's a sad reveal that her sister had recently passed away. And so the season sort of opens with the drama that the other McBee to-be's, the girlfriends / fiancés, did not reach out to her when that happened. And Casey is like, well, Steven told us not to talk to you anymore at that time. So they thought it was awkward. And then she felt like, unsupported by that clan.
Yeah, and then we find out, so that was a huge reveal. We find out that Steven Jr. actually was saying, don't ever reach out to her. She thinks you all are hillbilly trash.
Yeah.
She specifically called Cole and Jesse hillbilly yeehaw fucks, I think.
And they were bleeping it. It was hard to tell, but
they were bleeping it. So then, but I will say that I went into the season saying that is almost unforgivable on Allie and Casey's end, because even though it's kind of their relationship was probably pretty fake. I mean, when they show the scenes of Calla's like, these were my best friends, and then we see the 3 scenes that they got coffee together from last season. I don't think they were very close, but still. even a coworker on a show deserves one text, even if Steven Jr. said that
Right.
someone called you hillbilly trash. I thought that was a really bad start for Casey and Allie to
Yeah.
have not given Kala any grace. I would text my worst enemy if I found out their sister died. Well, maybe not my worst, but if they're in your life even tangentially like
Sure.
that, you would want to reach out.
Totally. No, that kind of, yeah, that gave her some ground to stand on for once, because usually she is, I would say, like, pretty villainous. Like,
tell me about that.
Kala kind of has the vibe of like that, the brunette, evil. It's when Ursula turns into that hot chick in The Little Mermaid. Like, she kind of reminds me of that.
Whoa, I gotta look that up. I only know Ursula as what you're imagining in your head right now, first version. Oh, so what is she like when she turns into a different form?
She's like a scary, like, sexy person who tries to take Eric away.
Whoa, I haven't seen The Little Mermaid or that part of it in a really long time. So tell me about Kala. So tell me what makes you think? Okay, so I'll admit that Kala shows a little bit of that mean drunk demeanor that Steven was talking about last season, because Kala actually did not get drunk once in season 1, and she never rose to the reputation that everyone was saying about her, which is that she gets drunk all the time, she's mean to Steven. She kind of kept those cards close to her chest. But season 2, we get the first time in the Ozarks where she starts ripping it up. I won't get to the Ozarks now, but she starts ripping it up, and you could argue that personality that they've all seen kind of rears its head. So is that what you're talking about when Ursula turns into that new Ursula 2.0?
Yeah, she's just like, not that, like, I think that any of the girls need to, like, bow to the McBee family, because I do not think that. I think they actually really do have to, like, have a backbone and be like, you guys are sick. But she, like, even the mom, who seems like a reasonable person, is like, this bitch is so toxic. Like, you have to escape. She's horrible.
Yeah, and you're right, and there probably is more that we're not even seeing. Like, I think Christy calls her poison for the McBee family. It's like she's basically like it's like you're pouring salt in the cornfields for the McBee family.
Yeah.
And I think that there was stuff about her reading text messages on his computer because it was hooked up to iCloud later.
Here we go again.
Everyone, cheating husbands and cheating wives and people who say bad stuff about your significant others, disentangle your iCloud from all your devices, because everyone gets to see that kind of stuff if you're doing something like that.
Yeah. So, there's a whole thing later that we'll get into where she's like giving them all shit for having an easy life and stuff. And it's like, sure, like, I agree, but she also, like, completely profits off of it.
Yes, and she kind of has this secret grudge when she's demeaning Steven Jr. She kind of goes, this guy doesn't even know how to fold his laundry. And she's kind of fighting with Cole later about how much she, like, secretly has a grudge against Steven. And it's very uncomfortable for Steven because he's like, you're talking shit about me right now. So I agree with you. And I honestly think that we're only at the iceberg theory of possibly what Kala is doing and what Christy knows about Kala. She does know about the Fed thing too. And she's threatening at a certain point. She goes, kind of, I don't even know this Ursula thing the second version, but she does go, I'll bury you all. If you give me 2 feet of rope, I'll bury you all. The McBee
I know
Dynasty,
what's coming down the road.
She goes, yeah, and Steven should not have told Kala about the Fed and then had that sort of fraught relationship with her.
No, I actually, as of this season, I officially feel sorry for Steven Jr. Like, I'm like, he's got the weight of the world on his shoulders.
I think so too. He's an interesting new type of person that I've never seen. He's kind of like, he's very responsible and very, like, he is a hard worker or whatever, but he's kind of like, a lame do-gooder in a way. But then he also really does treat his mother and father like it is the angel and devil on his shoulders. He still respects and deeply loves his father, but we find out he loves his mother so much more, and he's sort of pitted against them constantly. I felt like Steven Jr. really did shine. He kind of takes the responsibility from his father and, like, has these conversations with, like, Masha and Galena, like, instead of his dad. He's, like, taking the mantle from his dad. But I also find him to be the most performative of the boys, and he's sort of the most actory and the most, like, oh, you're, like, treating this like a reality show, where I much more enjoy Jesse and Cole and Braden being sort of rough around the edges and not knowing what the hell to do on camera than I do Steven Jr.
Totally. He's like almost like he's an executive producer or something. And he's like, we got 6 million due by November 1. We
Yeah.
gotta yield this soybean crop. And you're like, yeah, we get it. Damn.
Yeah, it's like, stop talking about this 6 million. And also, this is really not what I'm drawn to. I'm
Right.
drawn to Masha showing up to the Galena car wash ribbon cutting, not this fake soybean thing. Okay, and then that leads us perfectly to the next point, which is that Steven Jr. says, I'm making a huge McBee shift. Cole, you're out on your ass farm-wise.
Meat is in.
Meat is in. Apex Meat, McBee Meat Samplers. We're going full hog wild with new meats and
The
farm.
meat facility.
Yeah, the meat facility. And so the kind of the succession drama of the first season has been nipped in the bud completely. There was a clear successor. Steve called him and said,
Yeah.
Steven, you're taking over. And Steven doesn't want farm. But Cole makes one last rash decision where he gets the biggest soybean farm you've ever heard of. And then I feel like the first fake moment of the season comes when Steven Jr. comes in, like you said, huffing and puffing. And he goes, soybeans? I told you that we don't do that anymore, Cole. You want to be the big man on the farm? Well, the farm is going to end pretty soon because it's a meat industry now. And I was like, okay, boys, I
Yeah.
think the producers need to rein you in because that seemed like a completely fake scene. There's no way in hell Cole bought a random soybean farm on his
Yeah.
own, you know.
Right,
like,
right.
You know what I mean? That kind
Yeah,
of shit.
From
no
some
more
like
of
old
that.
guy. He was like, this looks good to me.
He goes, this soybeans that were sprouting on that are some of the best I've ever seen in my life.
We would have been fucking insane not to buy it.
Yeah, and then Steven Jr. goes, hey. He gives him huge soybean credit at the end of this. He goes, you made the 6 million at the end of this thing. Okay,
He's a total soy boy.
Totally, in a good way, probably. I don't know if he would like that, but he is a soy boy. Soybeans. There's a really funny scene where Kala and Galena pretend to be
my
friends.
God, this is great.
This is where the real McBee, what's the fourth wall break? What is going on
It
here?
started fake as hell, and then it took such a McBee line that I was like, what the hell is happening?
Yeah. So we'll say, Kala and Galena go, hey, we're best friends. I mean, obviously we've been checking in all the time. I felt isolated when I didn't get any condolences for this horrible thing that happened. And Galena goes, yeah. And anyway, have you heard about this Masha stuff? And Kala says, Masha is here right now. She's in town. I think she's at the ranch house or something.
Yeah.
Doesn't she give her the whereabouts of where Masha is? And Galena goes, I'm going to go take a piss. Will you excuse me for 1 second, Cal?
She's like, I'll be right here on this bench. And Galena goes,
Cal goes, she's going to leave right now, isn't she? And I was like, what? That doesn't happen in reality television. In no world ever has someone left the scene. She fled the scene and she starts calling Steve McBee and she goes, that bitch, that whore, Masha, I just found out where she is. If I find her, she's just threatening Masha to Steve McBee's voicemail as she races ass out of the scene with Kala. And then I have to say, they never talk about it again. Kala never brings out the fact that she left her sitting on a bench.
And for context, if you haven't watched, Masha is another Russian woman who was like best friends with Galena, and Steve met her through her and then immediately started cheating on her with her while she was still living in the house. And so there was a huge blow up in between seasons, apparently, where he is now dating a new Russian woman, which I'm so obsessed with the idea of these Russian women living in Gallatin, Missouri.
I love it.
They all, I was a little confused at first because when they show Galena for the first time, here she's wearing these like Miu Miu heels, and I noticed them because I'm like, Galena like spends cash on her fashions, like she's always wearing labels, and so I clocked them. And then when it shows a car pull up, the shoes get out of the car, you see the shoes first, and I was like, oh, it's those Miu Miu heels. It's this Galena, and it was Masha. And I was like, they have the same shoes.
Oh my God. That's like a Turtle Time exclusive. I'm just going to call it. That is so awesome. I did not notice that at all. Then a huge reveal. I'm so glad. So Masha's probably the the third most important part of this whole season.
Yeah.
That dynamic between Galina and Masha is huge. Steve found a new Russian girlfriend and he kicked Galina out, or she left him immediately after she found out about Masha. But then a huge thing that I didn't know that you kind of teased me with last time we talked about McBee is that Galina was completely the other woman for Christy.
Yeah.
When Christy she was the impetus for Christy divorcing Steve McBee.
Yes.
Galina started out by just cleaning the house, saying, "Can I clean the McBee mansion?" And then she started getting different tasks around the McBee farm, all the way upgraded to CFO. And Christy found out that they had been sleeping together for years. And that, amidst all the other infidelities that Christy learned about Steve McBee, is why she left Steve McBee. So Galina has been the other woman and now is getting her comeuppance by Masha doing this to her.
Exactly. Yeah, that was very juicy. So yeah, there's a little bit of a Christy versus Galina / like mending throughout this season. There's also I do love that things keep getting vandalized. There's a Masha's car, like, is it like Galina comes in with a bill and she's like, it's for like $7,000 of damage, and Steven's like, now what the hell is this?
Yes. Okay. Let's just talk about all vandalism now. There is an undercurrent that's kind of just pops its head every once in a while. There is so much vandalism going on in McBee season 2 that I have no idea what the hell is going on. My first impulse was, are producers running around like little elves,
golf clubs,
beating the shit out of everything on the farm and letting chickens loose to make it seem like Galina or Masha are just destroying shit. But there's so much of it, there's so much destruction that I think it must actually be happening. And the implied reality is that Galina is breaking a bunch of shit of Masha's, and then Masha, when she finds out about Galina, breaks a bunch of shit of Steve McBee's to get back at him for having a dinner with Galina. There is pot. They go to the house. A bunch of chickens are loose. First of all, is the first act of vandalism. Masha thinks that Galina is letting her chickens out to be killed.
She's a chicken killer.
She's a chicken killer. She's like, Giblet is gone. Goose is gone. There's a bunch of chickens or whatever. 3 baby chickens have been released, and then they go into the house. And they go, what the fuck happened to this pan?
And there's like bloody bones all over the floor. Like there's been like coyotes or something in there.
There's dog food in the dishwasher. There's every single cowboy hat has been sat on by Galina, presumably. There's cowboy boots that are standing on top of each other instead of being next to each other in the closet. And then it's like they know that they don't know who is doing it, but they assume it's Galina seeking revenge. She's destroying cars, she's breaking into trucks, and she's letting chickens loose throughout the season.
Yeah. Steven Jr.'s like, Masha's car got messed up. Are you sure that you didn't, like beat it up a little? And she's like, no, what do you mean?
God damn, that was a good Galina. That is exactly what she says to Stephen McBee. I'm pretty sure when he accuses her of it. Also, Galina, I have a hard time understanding Galina's mind. When I saw how bad Steve McBee is to her, like he's horrible. And he was, give Steve McBee, I'll give him, I don't give him a lot of credit, but he was, at times, he was pretty honest with Galina that he never wanted to get married again, that he's a philanderer, that, but Galina has this she's like the most loyal person I've ever seen in my life, to her detriment, to her mental health detriment. She's like, you have no idea what he said to me. And they keep showing the scene where Steve said, I would marry you if I was ever going to get married to you. But it's like, for me, I just don't really understand this sort of like deep love that Galina has for Steve, that it's causing her to have so much rage towards Masha that whenever she sees her, all she can say is fucking whore. Like, she can't stop herself. At the car wash opening,
Prostituta.
She's looking at her at the ribbon. She's looking over the ribbon as it's being cut. She's going, fucking whore. It's like she can't be stopped. She cannot rein in her hatred of Masha anywhere she goes.
I love it.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Okay, so what's after all the vandalism that we want to get across?
There was also, this is like later, but there's the guys go to Nashville for like a spice rub meeting, and they party a little, but it's not too crazy. And all the windows of their cars are smashed out, and they're like, do you think it's Masha?
Yeah, a bunch of their shit was still in there, but they think that Masha beat the shit out of 2 trucks that were there. And then Masha shows up eventually and she goes, "Hello, McBee boys." Well, she's Russian. I can't do a Russian accent. She goes, "Hello, McBee boys." And she walks up calm as a cucumber. And then you hear her screaming to Steve McBee about how he went to dinner after the spice meeting with Galena. And you could assume that she's pissed. And a lot of their trucks are destroyed on that Nashville trip.
Yes.
Okay, so there's still the boys' nights going on, and we haven't talked yet about Jesse. We are now in a world where Jesse has proposed to Allie. He did that at season 1. He did that at the end of season 1. He decided 12 years has been long enough. He wants to make this commitment to Allie, and so he's kind of on the road to doing all of his wedding planning this season. But there is something going on with Jesse McBee, this strong, silent type, this stoic McBee boy is kind of getting anxious and nervous and brewing with some sort of like panic attacks about the upcoming commitment that he's making to Allie. And it's present the entire season.
Yeah. And there's ongoing drama about they have a country house and a city house, and they're like an hour and a half apart. And obviously he works at the farm. So it's like a pain in the ass for him to go to the city, but she also has a job. I think she's like a nurse. Like she has like a full on real job. And then it's hard. So it's hard for her to come to the farm, and she doesn't really want to live at the farm. Like she has family and friends in the city. So she like actually would prefer to live there. But it seems like he's going to win the battle and she's going to have to be a farm wife. But that's the tension of the season, is that they don't really live together a lot of the time. And there's tension about the wedding planning. I'll also say, I mean, this is common, but the timeline of the wedding planning was like all off. Like they kept being like, he's freaking out and there's a week to go. And then they would go to like a wedding meeting and they'd be like, "What table scape do you want?" And I'm like, "The wedding's in a week and they haven't done the fucking tables yet." Yeah, right. And there was just like a few continuity things throughout. Like at one point, Christy texts with Galena, which we talked about, and it's about them getting lunch. And then the text, if you look where they tried to blur it, but it didn't blur, it says, "This is your call time for tomorrow." But then like 3 episodes later, Galena texts her to be like, "Can I please be invited to the wedding?" And Christy goes, "That's crazy because the last text I have from her is about cleaning the house." And I'm like, "No, you went to lunch like 2 weeks ago."
Yes, there's some sloppy shit like that. And I think that this production company is trying to like replicate the Bravo format, but maybe they don't know all the nuances and stuff. Another huge thing, in addition to that, which I noticed as well, I didn't notice the chronological stuff with the wedding as much, but there is just some sloppy shit and fourth wall breaking that you don't understand. But one thing that they do way too much on this show is they give us flashbacks for scenes that we just saw 4 minutes ago, which I love Bravo flashbacks. We talk about them all the time, but they're very strategically employed. It's when we really want one or they want to show a funny moment. But in this, there's like 30 flashbacks an episode, and it'll be stuff that we just saw. They really need to cut that out. They are giving their audience no faith that we would remember something from 2 minutes ago. And they show the same clips over and over again.
Yeah.
It's kind of frustrating, but I think that that's them trying to approximate the Bravo way, and maybe they'll get better at it in season 3.
Yes. Okay. So I think, part of it is we get Calla and Steven Jr., they get in a fight and like basically break up. She's going to move back to Dallas. So he has a guy's night and she has a girl's night. So you get to see like her friends. She's doing shots. She's talking shit. She's saying that she needs to get her own apartment, but she's actually going to need him to co-sign because she like doesn't make money, which comes up later where he's like, "I don't think I can co-sign because I have so much debt that actually I'm not a good person to like a good candidate for a loan, or not a loan, but like to my finances are not in good order." So they ask freaking Christy to do it, who like hates her guts. And she goes, "I would do anything to get her out of his life. So sure, I'll co-sign you a apartment in Dallas," which never happens anyways.
Yeah, no, it doesn't have it, but it was really nice of Christy to be like, I'll co-sign an apartment for Calla, who I think is poison for my
Well,
boy.
she's like, I want her the fuck out of here. That's why.
Yeah. And she does say that Steven Jr. has been miserable for the last 2 years. Christy says over and over again that Calla and their relationship, they both make each other miserable, and she just wants him to be happy again. I mean, she could not be more emphatic telling her son, Steven Jr., to stop dating Calla. I mean,
Yeah.
there's nothing more she can do. She's said it 100 times, especially
Yeah.
this season. They do all go out and partying their asses off, and then you gave me this sort of iconic toast, which we've already started doing it. You want to say what Cole says to his group of boys?
Yes. They look to him for the toast, and he says, a farmer sells the land, a sailor sails the sea, but a tequila glass and a stripper's ass is home to me.
And I've seen a lot of reactions to toast before, but this one has everybody just sort of uproariously laughing and hooting and screaming. It's one of the best toasts I've ever heard in my life. It's pretty perfect in every way, and then that kind of sets them off for a night of partying, and then we get into very quickly a gender reveal. The next day or a week later, we get this huge gender reveal, and I love there's a scene where Cole is trying to use a computer, I think, for the first time, and he's doing these amazing gender reveal things, him and Tessa, and they're like, this is the blind leading the blind. I don't know how the hell to use a computer either.
On Google Sheets or something.
Yeah, but they end up making it. And what did you think about this ultimate gender reveal? It's a huge helicopter, sort of like, I don't know why they wanted to do it, because I would think that would fill them with dread after all of the black helicopters that circle over the McBee farm when it's the federal agents.
Well, they paid up the ass for that helicopter, so they want to use it every chance they get.
Yeah, so they start blowing out a bunch of pink steam, and Cole is kind of a guy who's like, they're like, I hope he gets cursed with a daughter. Like, that'll be the curse that Cole deserves. And he's like, God, I want a son, but I'll take a daughter, I guess. And then he has this little grimace on his face when this pink steam comes out, but he very slowly, he has to accept it, obviously, but I think he gets more and more, like, they're kind of teasing him or whatever, that he's the kind of guy that, like, would hate a daughter or whatever, but he really comes to, I think, obviously, like, love the idea of it. He was just kind of maybe playing it cool in front of the McBee boys.
Yes. No, he loves it. They also, so like the start of harvest comes up, and that's really a big thing, especially for him, since that's his cornerstone. And they do a thing apparently where they drive the tractors through town to be like, it's the first day of harvest. And then I think he got too excited because he crashed into like a tractor and almost ruined this very expensive machinery.
He blew it multiple times out in the field. He crashed the big crop guzzler on the top of another tractor, and it almost derails them for the entire day. Have you ever been out in the streets when Harvest Day is going on?
Never seen it.
Oh, it's awesome. You bring signs and a bunch of beers, and you just watch those tractors sort of do a bunch of donuts in the in the fields.
It made me. I just recently saw that like one of the only normal David Lynch movies, The Straight Story, and he rides his tractor all the way the fuck across the country.
Oh my God, I've never seen that movie. I had no
It's cute.
Oh, I will watch it. It's like for Disney or something,
Yeah.
right? They're like, we want this David Lynch aesthetic, for Disney. I will definitely watch that. Okay. Oh, one little quick thing is that Galena has been drinking her ass off at work. She's drunk as a skunk off Miller Lite Ultras and
They
wine.
go through her trash can, and they're like, the wine is still cold.
Yeah,
The bottle's cold.
And speaking of sloppy things, at one point they hold up a bunch of orange juice, and Cole puts his nose in it, and he goes, vodka is in here. And I was like, okay, well, that's an open and shut case. But then when they report it to her, they go, what was that cold bottle of wine doing? I was like, isn't the vodka the smoking gun? It sounds like you guys were just smelling orange juice and lying that there was vodka in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was kind of sloppy. But Galena does admit, she goes, I did have a snifter filled with a few goblets of wine. But Can you blame me? I'm going through a horrible time with Masha.
Yes. So they're like, you gotta talk to her. So at one point they force them in the lodge together to be face to face, and she's like, you fucking bitch.
Yeah, it goes as well as that Brooke convo from season 1. She goes, fucking whore, you're a whore, all you do is spread your legs. And then what's the other one? Masha says, you've got a mental illness and you need help.
Yeah, they're not going to be friends anytime soon.
I don't think so. Not this season, at least.
No. Okay. So family vacay, the Lake of the Ozarks, is that what they're calling it?
We call it that too, yeah. Lake of Ozarks. The mom, Christy, says, I know what Steve McBee provided to the season 1 universe. He got you on 3 trips, Montana, whatever the other one was, Nashville. I'm going to do a trip, Lake of the Ozarks, just like our childhood. Let's all go as a family. I loved that Christy knew enough to know that we need to go on these trips. And also, I was thinking, we get a new world open to us on McBee Dynasty. I was like, we don't see any of this shit on any of the franchises. We've not gone to the Lake of the Ozarks or that Colorado place where Cole goes. And I like seeing this kind of stuff. I was like, there's no like Southern aesthetic or whatever the hell this is, Midwest aesthetic that we've ever seen on any other Bravo show. So I was happy to see that big spinning wheel from Place Beyond the Pines that motorcyclists spin around in. I've never seen that before in my life.
Did you see also unrelated that West took Kyle Cook to the Ozarks?
No, when did he do that?
Like recently. I think it was like one of Kyle's DJ sets was out there. And so West knew all of the awesome party spots. And he was like, Kyle Cook has a motor like nobody. Like he drank all night. I took him to get like nachos at this place. And then the next day I took him to the farm. It was like a full McBee moment.
Oh my God. Wow. That would be, I mean, I think we've already said this, right? Yeah, you said this last week. Get West and have Kyle visit him and go to, what do they call it? McBee Farm, right?
Exactly.
Could you imagine them running around that farm being like, Cole, stop it?
Oh my God, Kyle Cook and Cole would get so drunk. It would be a great sight. But yeah, so they're at some, I don't know what this like resort is or whatever. It's like a pool in the Ozarks. It's like, yeah, it looks like a resort. I don't know. Like it's just packed with people drinking in a pool. At one point, a giant man in overalls walks across the pool.
It was so awesome. He walks very slowly. They catalog the entire thing, and then he just slowly goes underwater, and you don't see him for a while. Bubbles just come up. It was great. And Steven kind of said, like, I'm going to take the mantle of Steve McBee. I'm giving us all permission to get drunk as hell. And he kind of says that, like, specifically, let's get rip-roaring drunk. And Christy McBee says, I don't want to watch this. I can't stand what this is going to do to you guys. She was kind of right. Yeah. Because Cole and Kala get ripped to no other. And do you want to say this part? Kala is sort of showing off sort of her dancing skills.
She's wearing a little itsy bitsy bikini and she's very fit. Like, I think they've established that her and Steven, one of their connections is fitness. Like, she's like ripped.
Sort of like Tamara and Eddie, I guess. Exactly. If I was just choosing 2 random people.
Yeah. Total gym rats. And she has like her leg up on Steven and is like twerking on him and like definitely like showing off and like being a little, like sexy and like, you're meant to look at what she's doing. Like, you're like, Jesus Christ. And Cole goes, he goes, if that's in my face, I'm eating it all day. And his pregnant girlfriend is right next to him.
Yeah, I mean, he says it. It's true. He talks about, this is going to get vulgar, so pass forward if you don't want me to say it, but he talks about eating Kala's ass all day. Casey immediately says, that's not funny at all. That's horrible. Why would you ever say that? And then she starts crying. And eventually Kala is so drunk that this kind of ruins their time. It's like, we've had enough. Cole just said he wants to, I'm going to say it, eat Kala's ass. The day is over. Let's all go back. Cole is so drunk. Kala is so drunk that she didn't even hear the comment. I was like, what is Kala going to say?
Yeah. Casey's like, he said he wanted to eat your ass. And she's like, what?
Yeah. Casey says to her, Cole said he wants to eat your ass. And then they're having this drunken frenzy where they're all sort of drunk. But Kala and Cole are drunk. Kala's walking out after just having that ass-eating comment about her. And then she gets in a fight with a Subaru a Suburban that's trying to get unparked. She's going, fuck you, whore. I'll fucking fight you. There's so much chaos. And Cole gets really angry like a toddler. He has a tantrum and he goes, I'm so pissed right now. I'm the best person in the world. I love myself and I've been so good. And now I'm really pissed. And he starts to fight a big hill in front of his brothers. He starts punching.
He's like rolling around in the dirt. He punches a tree stump.
I've never seen anyone in my life, in all of my reality television watching, someone start beating up the ground. It's a big flurry of dirt and punches as he hits the ground. And then he goes, oh God, I try so hard. He gets that drunken crying that people do when they get too drunk.
I've changed.
He goes, and just so you know, I'm not crying. I'm tough. I'm one of the toughest men you'll ever know. I'm not crying. And his brothers are just laughing and trying to console him to get him out of this rage-filled, drunken state that he's having. It's really like the crux of the Ozark trip. It really was. I mean, them getting drunk just opened up this new realm of drama for them all. And it carries on until they get back to their house.
Yes. So yeah, they're all like so like sun-soaked and wasted. For some reason, Calla and Cole decide it's a good time to get into it. And this is where Calla's like, you guys have had it all easy. Like, Steven's never had to do shit. And Cole's like, Steven's been through a lot. He works really hard. You don't understand what he's been through. He works his ass off. And Calla's like, yeah, we've all been through a lot, and I didn't get a condo out of it. And Cole's like, well, kind of, you did, because he gives you fucking everything. And we've established before that he gives her like large sums of cash. We just saw that she's going to get a cosigner. Like, she gets a lot of shit for free.
Yeah, he goes, and now your ass is going to go back to Dallas, where you belong because you're a loser. So it's definitely just a drunken fight. And, I don't think it would have happened had they not been drunk. And it's one of those things where like little miscommunications start to fire them up. But Calla is really railing against Steven Jr. to Cole. And Cole, who has never defended his brother for 1 second, is now saying his brother is one of the best people I've ever met. And he goes, you have no idea the shit that he's been through as a child that he had to overcome. And then Calla's being dismissive of Steven's journey. And then when Cole runs away, oh my God, Cole starts running down these stairs. And I was like, oh
scary.
my God, your life was just in the hands of fate, because I felt like you were going to take a header down those stairs the way he was
he's like, go,
running.
Go.
I was like, oh my God. And then he starts ranting and screaming back in his house. And Steven Jr. says to Calla, she goes, you just made things so much worse. I'm not going to defend you. You're just talking shit about me having a silver spoon up my ass. Why am I going to defend you? Like, you just made things worse with my family. And so when they go back down, Christy is trying to tamp this down. She was like, this is what I didn't want to happen, all this drunken shit. And then Calla still starts yelling at Cole, and Steven is like, his mom is in the room, and I think he's thinking about the fact that Calla could potentially be a future girlfriend or wife, and he does not want whatever Calla is going to say to be in front of Christy.
Yeah.
So he pushes her like I've never seen before, kind of disrupts the scene because it reveals a bunch of people filming in the corner. He just pushes Calla out of the way so that she will get out of the room.
She's in a chair that does not have wheels, and he just drags the chair out of the room while she's ranting and raving because he's like, you must exit this scenario, which I'm like, that is like batshit behavior too. She sits her ass down in the middle of the room and is screaming at this woman's son. Like, even they're on again, off again, wwhatever. But like, I can't imagine not having the chip of like needing to be like on your best behavior in front of like your boyfriend's mom.
No, yeah, I know. I know she's so drunk, and she is getting belligerent, and I'll say a little mean, despite everything she's going through. I mean, obviously, I give her the benefit of the doubt for processing trauma, but I think that this is a recurring theme with her and her drinking. But no, I felt the exact same way. It's like it becomes too uncomfortable to imagine when you hear that she's talking about Cole and Steven in front of Christy, who does not already like Calla. So he tries to get her out of there. He does damage control a little bit, but Steven is really pissed at her, and she's not acknowledging that she's drunk. She's still going, what did I say? What did I do? And he just wants it to be tamped down. Like, stop. Please stop screaming. My mom is here, and she already doesn't like you. And then that causes Calla, drunk as a skunk, to say, I'm leaving the Ozarks. Get me an Uber. And she goes out of there and leaves them. And then it kind of ends, and we don't see one more minute of the Ozarks. They basically they got home the next day after this trip.
Yeah, and this is the moment when Christy tells Steven that she is poisoned for my family. And this is also where Calla says, I have so much tea on his family, I could bury them, which I'm like, well, sorry, but like, do you want to marry someone that would say that? Like, that's like a nightmare.
Yeah, no, it's bad. It's like sort of what Galena is saying too about like, what if I revealed what I knew about all your stuff that's going on your farm.
Yeah.
Okay, we can. Oh,
By
sorry.
the
Go ahead.
way, during this, Calla says, she's like, my dad, my brother, and my sister have been to prison. So when he's like stressed out about the Fed stuff, like I know what that means. And on the Bravo docket, they explain what her brother, I think that her sister was probably like drug stuff. And with the brother, he misrepresented, he sells like military gear, and he falsified documents saying that they were like made in the US and like to safety standards, and it turns out they were like made in China.
Oh my god!
Like he was trying to like outfit soldiers with faulty safety equipment.
Oh my god, that's so. Okay, so Cal's brother is doing a very similar thing to Steve McBee.
Fraud. People be doing fraud.
Yeah. Yeah, and I take it back. I don't want Turtle Time to ever commit fraud. It's just it's too, it's too dicey, I guess. Okay, well, we can talk about this quickly. I loved this, but it doesn't deserve a lot of Turtle Time care and attention. There is a huge deal that Stephen McBee set up to go to Arthur Bryant's barbecue in Kansas City. They want to use McBee beef to go there, and it's kind of fake.
Yeah.
Most of the aspects of it are fake.
They're like, we have our meat that we like already, but we'll like do a scene with you.
Yeah, and that's what it is. And Steven goes, shit, the beef was due to Arthur Bryant's at 6 a.m. Galena was supposed to tell me when we were supposed to go, but she's not answering her phone.
Why is the CFO telling you what the delivery time for the meat is?
Yeah, there's just no other way for Steven Jr. to find out what time he should deliver meat. So he's like, I'm late because of Galena. It's so stupid and fake. And then they go, the MacArthur Bryant, they go, hey, you blew it completely with the time. Why didn't Galena give you the call time? It's 8:30. Now we don't have enough brisket to last us till 5:30. And also, we learn later, you trimmed way too much fat off it. This thing looks like a leather couch.
Sizzled to shit.
This looks sizzled to shit. We burn it at this temperature. You blew it big time. And Steven goes, I already cut the fat off a bunch of beef just like that.
It was like thousands of pounds, which actually I was like upset by that. I was like, oh no.
Yeah, so we're fucked. And then he says it very casually when he's giving Cole his credit at the end. He goes, that McBeef Arthur deal fell through. I really fucked that up. And it's like, yeah. It seemed very bad. Everything you did was wrong.
It made me feel bad for him though, because I'm like, why would he know like what kind of how much fat brisket needs? Like he needs to be taught. He's like flying by the seat of his pants. He's just like decided all of a sudden to get into the meat business.
Pretty rash decision though for him to tell the fat trimmer to be like, yeah, cut it all off. I was like, what the hell? Do you want to ask any
fat.
It's like, do you want to ask any questions at all about this? Arthur Bryant was so pissed. He goes, look at the yield on this.
Looks like shit.
Yeah, so Steven, we love you. We gave you your praises, but you blew it with the Arthur Bryant.
Fucked it up.
Barbecue deal.
You guys keep making errors. Okay, so there's a Christy Galena lunch where basically Galena's just like, I realize now that I was the other woman, and I finally understand how fucked up that was.
Yeah, we covered it. Yeah, Galena says, which is like, it took you that long? I mean, it was pretty awful. And she seems to be willfully ignorant of the fact that she caused stress and harm to that marriage. So it's like, okay, now you realize it, but whatever, better late than never. And Christy is a forgiving person, so she allows that. She even later, which we'll just talk about now, lets Galena get invited to the Jesse McBee wedding, because it's like, no hard feelings. You were a part of my boys' lives, despite you being a mistress, in our relationship. So kind of sweet.
Masha not allowed. Only one Russian, they say.
Only one. They go, once this Russian gets in, this blonde Russian, and it has Galena's big photo, he goes, no other Russians with blonde hair should be allowed. It's kind of a little silly thing.
There's like, we already talked about the Nashville trip, but Galena's there because of the Spice Rub meeting.
What'd you think about the Spice Rub meeting? It's a way for them to get the perfect sort of dust combo from spices in Nashville, but it also seemed like Steven had a little bit of a winking eye to the camera as to his true intentions. What did you think about that?
Yeah, he was like, we got to get another trip going because that's what is the bread and butter of this show. But at one point, they love to add the text ping sound, like whenever anyone's phone is getting blown up, it's like ding. ding, ding. And this is where we finally see Steven again, or Steve. Senior, and Masha is blowing up his phone because she knows that Galena is on this trip, and you see it, he's outside and you hear him yelling at her, being like, this isn't chill, like you need to fucking relax, like, and I'm like, okay, so he's on to like his next toxic relationship where he's like, leave me the fuck alone.
Totally. And he screams, I haven't seen my sons in months. You need to respect the time with my sons. And I was like, oh, damn. Well, I think that this is real because he wanted to be off camera and is screaming his ass off. It makes him look horrible. So I think that it is true that he was gone for months, because a part of me was like, is Steve McBee just getting the heat off of him and not wanting to appear on camera? But he's behind the scenes at every MacArthur beef plant saying, calling the shots or whatever. But it sounds like because of this fourth wall break that he didn't want on camera, he has been gone, going to Mexico, trying to travel around, waiting for the heat to be off him, and he didn't want to appear on camera. It kind of added validity to him being gone for me.
Right. Yeah. And when Galena sees that argument happening, she goes, I love it, that stupid bitch.
Yeah, you got it. There might not be hatred towards anyone else in the Bravo universe like Galena has for Masha. It's kind of uncanny. I've never seen anything like it. Braden gets to make love to someone on this trip, so they kind of tease it out like Cole might have had sex and cheated on his pregnant girlfriend. Right. He didn't. It was Braden who made love to someone in the McBee household. And this is when Masha comes up. She says goodbye to Braden's, the person that he had sex with. She goes up, I'm going to talk to your dad for a second. She screams at him, and then you find out that a bunch of their shit was destroyed and that Masha has been in Nashville the entire time.
Yes. Okay, so the finale is going to be the wedding. So a lot of this is like lead up to the wedding. This is where Jesse says that he like literally had a panic attack about it. He cries. His brother's like, I've literally never seen him cry, like, period. And it was shocking to watch because he's so, like, muted most of the time. So like he actually is freaking out, and Cole is like, they can't be stressing about having a big ass wedding like that. Whenever me and Casey get married, we'll do it at the barn, and we'll put it on Facebook and just say like, come on through.
Yeah, he just wanted to have like a kegger or something in the red barn. And I think that was Jesse's dream too. But Allie is the one who's making this a huge, wedding. But he has a panic attack. And even though they add a lot of flourishes of like what he's thinking about or whatever, this seems very real. At a certain point, I'll just say, now he talks to Steven about how nervous he is, and he is welling up with tears. He can't stop crying. He's like, I don't know what's going on with me. And he doesn't want to cry in front of his brother. He's like, Cole, he's like, I'm too tough to cry. We don't cry around each other. But he's welling up with tears because I think he's deeply nervous, but also I think that his dad's advice and all this stuff about horrible marriages and seeing his dad's marriage and stuff, that's all just like curdling within him, causing him so much stress before the wedding.
Totally. And then there's also a question of if Cal is going to be invited because they're technically still broken up, but he's like, she's always been planned to be his Steven's +1. And so they have lunch again, and it's like, or they get coffee, and it's like, I almost can't with their on again, off again. I'm like, all right, like you have like one more chance.
I know, and I can't even like remember, but Steven apologized to Kala. He goes, I should have listened to you more, what you were saying when you were ranting about me, I know.
But it was, she didn't like, even have to apologize.
I think it was just him kind of acknowledging that it was a drunken mess, and then Cole, uncharacteristically, kind of apologizes up front. He's like, hey, if Kala's going to be in my life again, I'll just apologize for screaming, saying you deserve to be in Dallas. But then constantly, Allie and Casey are sort of like, what's going on? Like, they obviously don't like Kala anymore at this point after everything they learned. And so every time she gets brought to a new place, they don't want to talk to her at all because they're just very tired of Steven having this wishy-washy relationship.
It's like awkward because she's like a freak and causes drama. Also, when Steven is inviting her to the wedding, he's like, I'm going to be wearing a bolo tie, and I keep picturing you choking me out with the bolo tie. And she's like, oh my God.
Yeah, there's a little kid that goes, what did he say? And they make it like everyone turned their heads, and they go in the confessional. They go, Steven, do you like to be choked while you're making love or whatever? And he goes, no, but it just sounded so sexy at the time. I think he was just getting really, really horny. And then Jesse to end this saga with him. He doesn't want Allie to not know that he's having these panic attacks. So he tells Allie in their bed, he goes, guess what? I was in a tractor and I almost started crying and my heart was palpitating. I had a panic attack. And Allie goes, I wish we had the relationship that you would have told me about that, like where you could come to me. Do you want to postpone the wedding? And Jesse goes, no, I don't want to. I still want to go full steam ahead.
Yes, which, yeah, we know from the previews that it does occur. And then there's also Cole gets lunch with his mom, and it just turns into them being like, because he's like, I don't want to get engaged yet. She's like, I think you should get engaged. And he's like, I actually am saving for an elk hunt. It's like 12 grand, so I shouldn't buy a ring right now. And she's like, well, we're going ring shopping right after this. And they just like pull into like a ring store. I was like, oh, we're doing this now.
Oh my God, yeah. And then Cole, this was kind of surprising to me. Cole does a little thing in the farm. He goes, let's go look at the cows and have a little fire. And he goes, I got you a key to our new house. But he does a little of the kind of silly, oh, I'm going to fall upon my knee to give you a proposal.
It's in a box. Yeah.
Yeah, it's in a box. But he goes, just kidding. It's a key. Casey loves it. And then he goes, guess what? I went ring shopping. And Casey goes, she says this, she goes, I don't want to just do the next thing on the list. I want us to grow in a relationship, and I'm not ready to be proposed to. You could tell that Cole was kind of testing the waters to see if she would be ready to be proposed to. And Casey says no, even though she's pregnant and they're going to have a kid together. She's not ready to be married to Cole. Like one thing at a time. We need to develop our relationship, which that was kind of surprising to me.
Yeah, I mean, he did say that he wanted to eat his brother's girlfriend's ass like very recently.
Yeah, I think it was like in this timeline, like 3 weeks ago.
He just got down on one knee. Okay, so basically we're like at the last episode before the finale. It's all like wedding prep. Steven Jr. teaches Jesse how to waltz, which he claims, I need more information on this. He says he waltzed for 8 months with a 65-year-old woman who taught him how.
I bet I know the answer.
Please.
Joe Millionaire for Richer or Poorer. I bet they danced on that show. Yeah, of course. One of our Villa Rosa VIPs thoughtfully said, you got to get the Joe Millionaire backdrop or whatever. So I bet that he learned to waltz for that show when he had to dance with whoever, and they had a coordinator, a dancing instructor or something on set. That's what it made me think.
Okay. Well, I do want to watch Joe Millionaire. Also, part of the wedding talk is that the brothers are like, Jesse has to get a prenup because he has 25% of the farm. So if they get divorced, she gets 12, which I'm like, that's valid to me.
Yeah, especially if, no, for sure. Yeah. And the boys are having Steve McBee in their ears, and they are so pro prenup that they're like, if you don't get a prenup, we're taking you off ownership of all of the McBee Dynasty.
It's like a risk.
We didn't even talk about this. That is another huge, probably 30, I'll say 25% to match his stake in ownership of the farm, of why he's getting so stressed out, because he does not want to have this conversation with Allie. And when he brings it up to his mom later, I was kind of stunned by this. She goes, that is an extremely disrespectful thing to do to Allie. Allie is a good person. We've known her family for 12 years. I do not think that you should get a prenup, and I don't even think you should broach the subject with Allie, in complete counter to what her boys have been saying to him for the entire season.
I'm like, girl, you are divorced yourself. Like, I think they had an extremely contentious divorce that, like, they were going line for line. The Bravo docket was talking about, like, they could list out every single thing, like every watch, every boat, every single thing was accounted for. And I'm like, that's all it's about. Like, I don't understand what people don't understand about what a prenup is. It can be whatever you want. You could say the prenup is she gets everything. The prenup could be as generous as you want it to be. I don't understand the problem.
I think people don't think it's like romantic, but maybe just make your prenup really romantic. Say like, I love
Put it on a scroll.
Yeah, a scroll that's beautiful with a bunch of like, you could put flower petals within it, and you could just say like, I love thee so much, and I take thee to be my wife and husband, but here are the stipulations in our contract of how we're going to split our estate.
Yeah, especially because there's literally something happening right now where she is potentially leaving her career to move in with him. Like, by marrying him, she is giving up her income. So like, he will owe her like alimony or whatever else. Like, I just don't understand.
And yeah, me neither. And I also, so you're an advocate for the prenup.
Of course.
Okay, yeah, I guess I was. I guess I was too. But isn't it like
There's no such thing as being like, they're a good person. Like, that doesn't fucking matter. Like, if you're getting divorced, you hate them.
true? And you never know. That's what they say. They're like, you're fighting with your worst enemy about all this stuff. Well, I don't know where I fall on it. I guess I agree with you in theory that I think a prenup is just pragmatic and
There's
a good thing.
massive assets at hand. Like, it's one thing if you're just like, whatever, like, we only have like $5,000 between us. Like, you still should, just so that it's taken care of in case you make money later or inherit something. But they have millions and millions of dollars between, what he has stake it.
All right, I agree with you, and I think Allie should get a prenup, and maybe you could stipulate that she does get some of those things, in the farm or the McBee car wash. I gotta say, one sad scene that struck a chord with me, very, very sad. And it's for Kala, a beautiful scene with her, but it's her sister passed away, which is sort of shadowing Kala's experience over this whole thing. I mean, you can't imagine anything worse. It's the worst thing that anyone could ever be dealing with. And then she has this very sad scene. I think her mom has now adopted her sister's daughter, and this is a 3-year-old girl. And they talk about how they are relaying the information, that Harlow has that her mom has passed and that she's in heaven now. And I was like, I have not seen that scene ever in my life, especially post being a dad. But it's one of the saddest things I think I've ever seen. Just that brutal. Quick 2-minute, FaceTime between Kala and her mom. Like so sad. And you kind of want to give Kala all the benefit of the doubt in the world. Like if any of this, even a fraction of this trauma happened to me, like, I don't think that I would be able to handle myself well either. So just kind of a reminder for empathy for Kala.
Yeah. It's kind of amazing that they've barely delved into her background. And it turns out that like 3 out of 4 members of her family have been to jail. And I'm like, okay, well, let's dig in over there.
Yeah, and I'm sure that they probably wanted that aspect of it to be, included in season 2, because she is featured the entire season, despite her and Steven having this on and off again relationship. Okay.
The last hurrah is that they're opening their like big like finale car wash that they've been working on in what is it, North St. Joe?
I think it's North. Yeah, North Joe, like you said, second.
It's a big deal. They have pugs driving little Power Wheels, dressed in like a Kansas City gear. I was really hooting and hollering over that.
I was loving. I'm going to be fully transparent with everyone. I love McBee's Coffee and Car Wash. It looks so nice, and the idea of me getting to wash my car and then also going in and getting a huge latte while I'm watching my car get washed off by Braden. It's like there's nothing better, and this is the empire that they love. They are car wash boys, and farming is just a supplemental thing to make them look like cowboys. But it's all about the McBee Car Wash, and then of course, like we already said, Masha has now been sort of on a kind of a spinning around like a tornado in the universe because she thinks that Galena is now getting back with Steve, or that Steve is transgressing against Masha, or Masha wants to be on camera. I don't know what it is, but she was not invited to this opening. She pops up, and that's when Galena says, "You fucking whore. I don't even want to cut this ribbon anymore. There's a fucking whore on the premises."
Dirty scum.
Dirty scum. And she goes, "You're a scum. You're scum. What are you doing here?" And then also Masha, at one point, she goes to a banker. She goes, "Well, that's great. I'll have the signs put out tomorrow." And it's like, are you just pretending to talk to bankers like you have some claim to the McBee car wash dynasty? It was like really fake and weird.
She's claiming she's like helping with the marketing or something.
Yeah, "I'll get those signs to you tomorrow, Mr. Banker." And I was like, oh my God, that is the weakest attempt at pretending you do something. And Galena just goes fucking nuclear on her.
Yeah.
She's like, "You whore." What are you doing here?
Prostituta. But yeah, all the family is like, frankly, she really shouldn't be here. And we have to give Galena, a little a credit here, because she shouldn't be here. And this actually is Galena's business to be here. Like, she managed this project.
Kind of like, I don't care if Galena put a bunch of dog biscuits in the dishwasher or broke that cast iron pan. She deserves to be at the McBee, opening.
She
Masha
put
doesn't.
a Le Creuset in the toilet with a cowboy boot.
Yeah, it was just so, yeah, she did a bunch of stuff, but they're like, we still honor Galena. She deserved to be here over Masha. But I gotta say, Galena kind of didn't do the best car wash opening demeanor. She starts spitting on the ground. She flips her off as she's driving away. Every investor is looking at it. Kind of a round two of what Steve McBee when he was cursing and screaming at his Corn Star Awards.
Yeah.
And and then
Galena's daughter's also there. And like the first thing that happens is Steven tells Galena or Jesse, does Jesse tell her or Steven tell her? Jesse gives her an invite, like a crumpled up fucking invite that he pulled like out of his back pocket. It was like, I couldn't find like the actual invite, but here's like the cover page. You can come to the wedding. And she's like about to cry. She's so happy. And she's telling everyone, she's like, look what I got. Look what I got. And her daughter's like, that's great. You're not allowed to drink at the wedding. Like, no drinking at all.
Yeah.
And then later when she's fighting with Masha, her daughter's like, you got to keep it cool. There's like business people here. But then her daughter ends up ripping Masha a new one.
Oh, she really does. She goes, I'm smarter than you, and I'm only 22. Also, Masha goes, look what I've got in my hand that Jesse crinkled up for me. It's an invite to the wedding. So that shows my status versus you. She's kind of using it against her. Okay, and then I would say we are probably at getting ready for the wedding, right?
Yes.
I mean, there's a couple little blips and bloops that we don't need to talk about. Probably.
Yeah. Steven officiating, them saying only one Russian. And then like, he's like, I'm probably not going to do the prenup. I ran out of time. They're like, what about a postnup? He's like, I don't know. And they're like, it sets a bad precedent because then Kala and Casey will be like, well, she didn't have one. And they're like, I think Kala's the main concern.
Yeah, Stephen McBee says this will send the prenup ball rolling, and no one will want prenups anymore. But I do have to say, he's so uncomfortable talking to Stephen because Stephen's got that posture, like performative aggro brother posture. But Jesse goes, Allie's different. He defends her. He goes, I don't think whatever side you believe of this story. He goes, Allie's different. And he goes, I don't think I'm going to be doing that. I don't want to disrespect her like that. And then Steven is kind of huffing and puffing. He's like, you just got the prenup ball rolling for all us boys.
Yes. And then the tease for the wedding is that they're like, have you seen Kala? Like, she's supposed to be here. And they're like, I haven't seen her yet. And then they're like, where's Galena? And there's like body cam footage of her getting put in a jail cell. And I'm like, where will this fall on the fake versus real meter?
Well, it seemed like it was a body cam footage.
It seemed like legit. But
Galena,
I'm like, what are the odds she gets arrested on the way to the wedding?
It says, Galena, you're under arrest for killing chickens or destroying that Cruisinette, La Cruzette pan. So she's in jail. She's getting in jail. Where's Kala, like you said? And then the last scene. And this is when I really did scream McBee at the top of my lungs.
McBee!
It's Steven Jr. rounding up his brothers and saying, guess what? Dad is under investigation by the FBI, and I do not think his brothers really know that. They've been trying to keep... I hope they don't. I'm going to know within 1 second if Cole looks like he knows, but I think it might be him telling them for the first time, and I can't wait to see Jesse and Cole's reaction when they find out that Steve
I can't believe that I'm like, appointment television next Monday, McBee. Like, I'm like going to be like with fucking bells on.
Me too. I mean, it is going to be, and I'm really so glad that we got the chance to catch up before the season finale of season 2, and that we're going to be in this sort of McBee Dynasty era for a long time. So yeah, I think it was as compelling as a next episode could ever be if you love the stakes of McBee. Amazing, and that it was well worth the journey. Everything that we did over the last 2 weeks was worth it. I hope that we've convinced. Everyone should watch McBee, don't you think? If you're in the Bravo drought, you were saying people feel like they're in a Bravo drought. McBee is good enough.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's a lot of work. But...
Yeah. My sister texted me on Sunday and she was like, I'm binging McBee. She was on like episode 7. I was like, I told you.
Yeah, people are going to start to get McBee fever, and hopefully Turtle Time can lay a little stake to that claim that we're setting the McBee thing rolling. And also I was going to say that, like, I think I said this last week, but also like the McBee Dynasty, like if they do put out multiple products, I'm not buying your meat sampler. No. I'm not buying a meat pack with a little sample spice, but if you sell something that's very easy for me to get my hands on and spend $15 to $20 on it, I'm honoring the McBees. And you guys can get flush with new cash if that farm is struggling. They haven't even tapped into the Bravo market yet.
Bravo should do an activation for the Emmys where they put they skin a LA car wash with McBees.
That would be so cool. If it's car wash soap, I don't want to think about them slaughtering a bunch of cows.
Yeah.
So if it's something that's just a little more ethical for me to indulge in and go nuts on, like a whiskey or a beer or a car wash soap, I'm
McBeer.
in. McBeer? Oh my God, do you think that they always are kind of like fighting with McDonald's? Because at one point they do say McBeef, and I was like, oh, yeah. McDonald's is going to be pissed when they see that.
That's true. Yeah. No, but I hope they get their shit together. I think actually, according to the Bravo docket, I don't know if it's moved, but as of the time that I listened to it, the trial or whatever, or the first hearing was for Steve was supposed to be in early September.
Yeah, I think I think it's September 9th when I last looked. I'm like, oh my God, you and I can be reporting on the Steve McBee trial pretty soon. I mean, it doesn't look good.
If it's federal, does that mean that he has to go to New York?
Oh my God, I don't know. Let's now you and I mean, Turtle Time News is going to get a huge boost when we start reporting on the Steve McBee trial, no matter what happens. I mean, he pled guilty. He pled guilty, so I think the judge just says, no objections anymore. I sentence you to this.
Yeah. Maybe he get a plea deal.
What if he gets 5 years in prison? What are we going to do?
Oh my gosh. I mean, what a boon for the viewers.
Oh my God, yeah. Season 3, it'll be like him awaiting to go to prison. All right, well, yeah. I think we've done McBee Dynasty justice. We recapped it in 2 episodes of Turtle Time. We're now fully caught up. We'll recap the season finale next week on our Wednesday episode. And let's just say, Amy, let's go through the list. News?
Check.
Recapping McBee Dynasty?
Check.
and then after that, this is what you can do to help Turtle Time. If you enjoy Turtle Time and you want Turtle Time to expand into a bigger sort of dynasty, like the McBee Dynasty, you can join us on Patreon. Even if you don't want to hear our Vanderpump Rules recap series and you just want to give us a certain amount of money a month to booster Turtle Time, that is a really preferred method of helping us out. And then also you can go to the Etsy store and buy some of our merch, which just gives money straight in our pockets, but you get something in return.
True.
And then the last way to boost us big time is
rate and review.
Yeah, that's a great thing to do. Go to YouTube, say what your Taylor Swift wedding set list for Super Bowl is. What did you like about McBee Dynasty? Did we have any hot takes that you didn't like or that you loved?
One of our most recent reviews says, "I'm loving the McBee Dynasty. So glad y'all are watching and reviewing."
Well, that reviewer, we just did a new thing that you're going to love. And we also got a couple new reviews I saw too, like 3 or 4 today. Yeah. So we love it. And let's help Turtle Time grow. We want a year of plenty. I don't want to underreport our soybean count. I want a big yield of crop for 2025.
I'm like Steve Jr. I'm sick of saying next year is the year.
I feel the same way. Let's just end at that. Goodbye, McBee heads. We'll see you for Friday's episode.
Bye-bye.